So let's say here that you want to do some minifying for your files. And what is minifying? That is removing white spaces and carriage returns or character returns from your JavaScript file so that your client or JavaScript will load faster. And to show you kind of the results of it, I just kind of included a generic script here to show you how a regular JavaScript would work and how our minified JavaScript will work. And we're going to do all of this by doing a bundler. So first thing we need to do is we're going to go to Tools at the top, and we're going to go to NuGet Package Manager, and then we're going to do Package Manager Console here. And I'll put this link in the description, but essentially you're going to use this install package, and it's called Microsoft.AspNet.Web.Optimization. So you'll just be able to copy and paste that right into here to the package manager. Hit enter, and I believe mine's already installed, but it will try to reinstall it here. This will take a second, so I'm just going to pause the video and then I'll come back to it. Okay, so finally completed here, and yeah, it's had some changes to my web config file, so it's just asking about that. I'm going to go ahead and we have our global ASACs here. Close out this right now, close out this. So now that it's successfully installed here, we need to, first we need to go to our app start here, and we need to add a new class, and we're going to call it BundleConfig. And now we need to make a static method, public static void register bundles, and we'll say bundle collection bundles. And we need to also, I'm going to get rid of these namespaces because they're not necessary. And instead of system.web, it'll see system.web.optimization. And now let's go ahead and let's add a couple bundles here really quick, and let's take a look at what's in our scripts. So we have jQuery 2.0 JS, jQuery minified 2.0. So this is the same file. You shouldn't reference both. These are both the same files. If you're going to do bundles, do not reference your minified files, reference the full files. If you are trying to just do straightforward minified files, then you should just be referencing without the bundler. So lastly, let's go ahead and now let's add a couple of these. So the way to do that is you can go bundles.add, and let's do new script bundle. Okay, and it's going to ask a virtual path, and that's the virtual path that we'll be calling actually. This is not a path that already exists. This needs to be a path that does actually not exist. So usually I call this like bundles.scripts or /scripts /desktop. If the reason I do that is I now know that it's a bundle. I know that it's going to be of script type, probably JavaScript. And desktop, meaning that it's probably going to be running on a desktop and not a mobile version. So, and then next we can do include, and now we can start adding our virtual directory. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to do scripts, and I'm going to say jQuery dash, and then I'm going to say version, and then .js. And what this version is indicating here is that I want you to include jQuery and then any version of jQuery and then that file. So I'm going to do a couple more here. We're going to do scripts / what else do we have here? We have a UI, so we can say jQuery dash UI, and we'll say dash version .js, and then let's also do one more, scripts, and we'll do .unobtrusive .ajax.js, and let's just start with that. And lastly, one thing you don't always have to do, I just do this out of habit, is I do include directory, and that's the directory in which these files exist, and it'll be scripts. And then it wants the search pattern, and do .js because anything .js is what we want. And I will push that down. And then just for quick reference, if you want to see how you would include like a any sort of CSS, I'll just do one CSS here. I'll do bundles.add new style, new styles, style bundle. There we go. That's the one I wanted. And again, I'm going to do bundles, CSS, desktop. And I'm going to include, I'm just going to do jQuery UI.css. And we'll do content. Forgive me here. I'm going to do content dash / themes, because that's where mine is, / base, and / jQuery dash UI .css. And again, I'm going to do dot include directory content. I'm going to include all content from there, and .css is what I'll be including. So, all right. So we have a style bundle and we have a script bundle. So we need to do one last thing. We need to go ahead and go into our global ASACs, and we need to actually add that, otherwise it won't show. So we need to include our system.web.optimization here as well, and then we also need to put down here, we need to say bundles, BundleConfig, and you can see it's not showing up, so I'm actually going to include our namespace here. Entity examples is the namespace of my project, and I'm going to say app start. So now let's go ahead and try this again. So BundleConfig, still not popping up. I'm going to build my project so that it sees the reference here. Oh, it's because I called BundleConfig. See? Naming is all about paying attention. BundleConfig. Yes, I would like to rename it. There we go. There, let's try that. So now it's BundleConfig. There we go. See? And now we call our register bundles. And now we say bundle table dot bundles. And now our bundles will be registered with our project, and that's all we need to do. So lastly, if we want to include these in our layouts, let's say we want to include them in all our layouts, I'm going to go to my Razor master layout if you're using Razor, or if you're using ASPX, go to your master page, and into your head section, that's where our Razor section here is. I'm going to go ahead and say script.render, and I'm going to give it a path here, and the path actually will be this path here that I just put in. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it in here. I can get rid of these. And that's all there is to it. So let's go ahead and build our project and load it up. And I'm getting a phone call, but I'll wait here. Pause this for brevity. Okay, I had a long phone call, so I was away for a minute. Hopefully you guys aren't going to notice. So we can see there's a couple scripts that are included on here. We have jQuery 2.0, jQuery UI, and the jQuery which was included. So let's go take a look at that really quick. So let's see here. We have the jQuery version that we included, which should have included our. I'm gonna drop this down. So looking at our scripts here, I'm gonna pull this up. So we essentially wanted to include this file, which successfully happened, right? We have that, and we have our jQuery UI as well. And we have our jQuery other file. So one thing you'll notice is it included those files, but it didn't minify them. And the reason for that is because we didn't necessarily tell it to. And one way to do that, I'll show you in a second here, but I did want to fix an error that I just realized I did make, is if you actually, sorry, it's going to give me that. Actually, even if you wanted to do this and then wanted to do this, if you did include directory, content CSS, and scripts star.js and star.css, let me show you what's going to happen here, is actually pretty interesting. It will include every single GAS file that is in here, and it will include every CSS file in here, which there aren't any actually, but so that's why I didn't bother with this one right now. So let me go ahead and rebuild my project here, and I'll show you when I run it on the Google Chrome. And I know this video is getting lengthy, so I will wrap it up here. So looking at our head here, all of a sudden look at all these things that got included for us suddenly. Now we all have all these jQueries, and we did little to no typing, so that's a nice thing to happen. And notice it didn't include the minified files. That's because we didn't enable optimization, and we're not going to, because typically, actually, as I've read in many professional blogs, there's a lot of stipulation as to whether or not you actually should do that. So I won't bother with that for right now, but that essentially is how you create and set up bundles. And that concludes this video.